What is up, Transformers? It is Dr. Kathleen Nash with another educational video to help you reach your goals faster.
Let's go!
In this video, I'm going to talk about a concept that you might be familiar with, but you won't necessarily know that there's an actual term for it. The topic that I'm going to talk about today, the term that I'm going to teach you guys today, is called adaptive thermogenesis, right? So I'm going to say that one more time. Adaptive thermogenesis. What the hell is adaptive thermogenesis? So adaptive thermogenesis is the concept or the situation that occurs in the body. It's a biological situation that occurs in the body in the presence of a calorie deficit. Adaptive thermogenesis means that if the body is put in a calorie deficit for a consistent basis, a chronic consistent basis, day after day after day, you feed it less calories than it needs, you create a calorie deficit, that the body will respond by reducing its calorie expenditure. So basically, your body is adapting to the lower calories by burning less calories over time. Now, the reason I bring this up is because most people are not aware of it, or they are not aware of how quickly it happens. Adaptive thermogenesis starts within 7 days of you putting the body into a calorie deficit. It starts by altering its leptin hormone levels. Leptin is the hormone that comes out of your body fat and tells your body when it's full. So your body's already making hormonal changes within 7 days of you putting yourself in a calorie deficit. The reason I'm bringing this up is because if the body is under normal circumstances, it doesn't have any problem accessing its body fat. Its hormones are level, its dietary hormones are level and balanced and regulated, liver's functioning well, kidney functions well, central nervous system, hypothalamus is functioning well, it's not really acidic, it doesn't have a whole lot of toxic overgrowth in it. If all of the ducks are lined up in a row, adaptive thermogenesis occurs at about the rate of 13 calories a day. This means that after 10 days of a calorie deficit, people in studies clinically on average were observed to lose 13 calories a day. It means that after 10 days, approximately 130 calories a day were less burned or burned less than when they started the calorie restriction. So if you're talking about a woman, and a woman's supposed to burn 2,000 calories a day, by the 10th day, she's only burning 2870, okay? And this is if everything in the metabolism is lined up properly, if your body's ability to access and burn its body fat is not impeded. Now, in my program and with my clients, all of them have some kind of metabolic dysfunction. If you don't have metabolic dysfunction, I will not take you as a client because it simply means all you need to do is eat less and move more. I'm not discounting eating less and moving more as a viable way of losing weight. I do think it's necessary, but for a large population in the United States, it's not the only thing wrong. And this situation of adaptive thermogenesis helps explain why eating less and moving more doesn't always gets like a disproportionate result, usually less. And it usually means you've got some kind of metabolic damage. Now, what kind of metabolic damage or metabolic dysfunction could cause an impedance of burning body fat, meaning that your body's having a hard time doing it? First one, could you have fatty liver, either alcoholic fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, you're simply starting to accumulate fat in the liver, liver's enlarged, some kind of liver problem? Could that impede body fat burning? Yes, I believe it can. Yes, because the liver is the only organ that breaks down body fat and converts it into fuel that you use for energy. If there's a dysfunction in the liver process, it's enlarged, it's fatty, it's got toxin built up in it, then it's not going to do that conversion as easily. So now your ability to burn body fat is impeded. 2, dietary hormone imbalance. Let's talk insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is such a common thing that I talk about in my videos that my middle name should be insulin resistance. Insulin resistance basically means that at normal levels of insulin release after you eat food, your body doesn't respond. It's like it doesn't even hear the hormone. You're resistant to the effect of that hormone, so your body has to release a lot more to get the job done. Well, who cares? Well, the reason we care is that if the level of insulin in your blood is over 30 microunits, then the hormonal signal your body's getting is to store fat, not to burn it. You can't burn it if it's over 30 units in the blood. So Knowing that 50% of the US, 50% of the US population is insulin resistant by 2018, could you potentially have a hormone imbalance that would impede body fat burning? Yes, I believe you could. All right. So another one, the longer you sit at any weight, I don't care if you're 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 600 pounds, doesn't matter. You're reprogramming a portion of your central nervous system that this is the weight you're supposed to be at. So that's called set point theory. People have talked about it before, and it makes your body act like a thermostat. Meaning if your body believes it's supposed to be 150 pounds and you go down to 135, your body's going to use this adaptive thermogenesis to slow down how many calories it's burning to push you back up to where it believes you are. Same thing occurs the opposite way. It's just that I guess overeating can be so much fun that we don't see it, but you'll see this with hard gainers a lot, where they'll increase their calories and the body will increase how many calories they burn to put them back in that range. So if your set point is set too high, could that impede your body's ability to burn body fat? Yes, I believe it can. So now we got three things. People who chronically undereat as a way to control their weight most often also develop nutritional deficiencies. Could nutritional deficiencies, chronic or acute nutritional deficiencies, impede your body's ability to burn body fat? Yes, I believe it could. All right. pH levels. For a long time, people talked about alkalinity versus acidity. You know, the ruling is still out on whether or not alkalinity or acidity makes a huge impact. I am one of the people that believes that it does. Whenever pH levels start to go acidic, hunger levels rise, cravings rise. It's just more difficult to manage yourself in a calorie deficit when the pH is acidic versus when it's alkaline. So I believe that also impedes your body's ability to burn body fat. So chances are, if you're a client on my program, you have at least one of these issues, and some people have all of them. And I've already taken that into account when I design the program for you. So when I design the program and we sit down and we talk to you about the program, whether we do it in a face-to-face talk, whether we're doing it in a video conference, whether we're doing it on the phone, we also have it in the instructions that we give you, that I know it by heart because I say it all the time. I've already calculated the lowest amount of calories and the best type of food that you need to be eating for the next 30 to 35 days to achieve the best results based on your specific metabolic issues. And then in bold and italicized, it says omitting foods or substituting foods will result in less desirable correction, ultimately leading to poor results. For the best results possible, follow the food management plan exactly as outlined. And invariably, I will have, in my opinion, a significant amount of my clients' population, 15%, 20%, some months up to 30%, of people who will leave food out on top of what I've already designed for them, even though I literally make my patients sign that part of the instructions so that we both know that I've discussed the importance of eating everything I'm telling you to eat. If your body is going through any kind of chronic calorie deficit where it's being reduced, seeing a reduction in calories every single day, we already see in the medical literature that the body's going to adapt, and it starts adapting in as little as 7 days, and the average is 13 calories a day. But if you are somebody whose body has a hard time accessing its body fat, you have some kind of metabolic dysfunction, they've seen that it's worse. It goes up to 30 calories a day. So that means that somebody who's struggling with their weight, but they have one of these issues, in as little as 3, I literally just spit on the camera. In as little as 3 days, their body is burning 100 calories less than when they started. And we see this time and time again with my non-compliant patients. They're leaving food out, they're skipping meals, thinking that it's going to accelerate their progress. It literally backfires on them and stalls it. And it's because of this adaptive thermogenesis. Their body sees this sharp calorie reduction more than what I've said for them, plus they can't get into their existing body fat and energy stores efficiently. So the body just shuts down. It's like, I've got no choice. I've got to slow down how many calories I'm burning or I'm gonna die. I bring this up to you, whether you're a client of mine or not, to be aware that it's not just calories and activity. And I know it would be great if we could say that it's only how much you eat or move that drives weight gain or weight loss. But honestly, the body is just more complicated than that. You couldn't take 200 calories of steak and 200 calories of spinach and 200 calories of candy. Calorie and energy-wise, they are equivalent. And tell me that you're going to create the same type of body with those three foods. That's going to cause three completely different biological and chemical and hormonal responses in the body. To only look at the calorie content or the amount of food you're eating as a method of controlling your body fat, in my opinion, is misleading and wrong. It's just going to create frustration in people, especially female populations who tend to undereat chronically because they've heard this advice so much through their lives. Anytime I tell a client that I'm going to test their metabolism by having them eat between 2,000 and 3,000 calories a day, all of the men are like, okay. And all of the women do this. No. They freak out. Their shit freaks out and they haven't even started the program yet. And it's because this energy message has just been driven into us since the day that we were born, since the day that we first started talking about bodies on the playground at recess. Oh, look at that girl, she's too small. Look at that girl, she's too big. I bet no. Okay? Am I saying that calories and activity don't matter at all? Absolutely not. They absolutely do matter. But I'm also saying that you have to look at the bigger biological picture. And if you're a client of mine, if I tell you about a certain amount of food you need to eat, I promise you, there's a reason. And when you start deviating from your program and taking the program into your own hands, you are certainly, it's your body and it's your program, and you certainly have the right to do that. But you lose the right to complain at me, bitch at me, and whine at me when you're not getting the results I talked about if you're not following the program the way I taught you to do it. And hopefully, learning about something like adaptive thermogenesis is going to give you that much more resolve to follow the program exactly as outlined. It also means that as soon as you start a calorie deficit, the clock is running.
The clock is running!
You've got about 30 to 35 days before your body is going to adapt by up to 30 and in some cases 40%, meaning that calorie expenditure can drop 30 to 40% in as little as 30 to 35 days. So whenever you start any kind of a program to drop body fat and you do it by cutting calories to any degree, just know the meter's running. The clock is running. Do your very best in that 30 to 35 day period and then take a break from restricting calories. Bring those calorie levels back up. Let the hormones regulate again. Let the body build up its basal metabolic rate, the amount of calories it burns on a daily basis, back up to normal levels. Because I tell you, it's going to make it easier on you in the long run. It's going to make your program more sustainable. It's going to make your weight loss more permanent. And you'll only be better off by doing it. I'm Dr. Kathleen Nash. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If you would like to learn how you can lose potentially 3 to 7 pounds a week on average with no hunger, no cravings, little to no exercise, and have it tested that it'll hold by eating up to 3,000 calories a day, check me out at drnash.com, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.